about football matters, and of course, the biggest news so far this week is the appointment of Eric Chelle as the new head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I still have Obadina here. Obadina, let me get your thought on this. Were you surprised that of all the names in the world, we ended up with the man on your screen, Eric Chelle?
For me, with benefit of hindsight, I knew how much work I went into getting coach for the Super Eagles starting from last year, where they had a short list of 3, and Eric Chelle was part of the final 3 who made that list. And according to sources, meeting happened in France with his agent and with him. Eventually, the NFF made a U-turn where they settled for first it was Finidi George, later it was Bruno Labbadia, and now finally they're coming back to Chelle. So I wasn't really surprised in terms of the decision to take him. I watched the Mali team and they did not play too badly, so it wasn't so much of a surprise.
Wasn't much of a surprise. And then, what do you make of the fact that a lot of people are thinking that we should have appointed a home-based coach, like Osine Guavon, Fidelis Ilochukwu, and how do you even think that this appointment, what kind of message will this appointment pass, to them?
I think we've seen a mix. We have to we've had times where the local coaches took over and they were successful, and other times they took over and they were not successful. Likewise, the same thing with foreign coach. We celebrate Peseiro today, but in truth, it was much of a disaster before the AFCON, and the only reprieve we had was during the AFCON. The current situation of our World Cup qualifier, Peseiro was major architect from some of the we started. So I would have the coach, not to coaches. I was to coach that whose ego is, and he has done so much in terms of achievement, being a Nigerian coach in Europe, won a league, played in a UEFA Champions League qualifier with his team, still got another job somewhere in Europe. We could have brought somebody like that back home, that for not just for the fun of it, because qualification is also important. That has been one of the major fault lines for some coaches, where they struggle to be on the bench when they are coaching Nigerian teams at the CAF level. And of course, this comes back to the NFL, but they could have given it to another Nigerian, not necessarily NFL or local coaches. But still, again, I still believe we have to see Chelle work first before we can decide if it was a good appointment or not.
Now, let's look at this contractual agreement. That is binding the NFF and himself. The sum of 85 million naira per month will be given to him. His coaches will earn at about $5,000, equivalent to 8 million naira, about naira. But you look at this contract; it's a short-term contract, and do you think that it seems to be he is getting less than what he's currently earning in the club that he's coaching? Do you think that he will live up to expectation, sign his short-term contract that can be extended, no doubt? So how do you look at the monetary, contract from the perspective of being a Nigerian and knowing that we are the middle of a crisis? If we do not qualify for the World Cup, then it amounts to nothing.
I think the short-term contract is a motivation. It doesn't get better than having TV that you are national, and not just coach Nigerian national team. You coach them successfully, you fight them to a major championship like World Cup. So it's a motivation. And of course, $50,000, which is the dollar equivalent of a salary, has been the Nigerian standard. I guess it's a pay cut compared to what they pay in North Africa, where that's Algeria, where he had a coaching job with MC around. But it's a good thing for him because he knows that it comes back to his advantage if he can achieve on this short-term contract, on this pay cut level, and qualify Nigeria for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. When they come back to the negotiation table, he will be coming from a position of strength, because now they've tested his ability and his work, and they know that he can do it. And of course, that's if he becomes successful and playing quality football along the way, that everybody with him. Once he can achieve with this short-term contract, he is coming back from a position of strength to negotiate their payday for.
Okay. Hopefully we'll get to hear. Okay. Get to hear you. But then, Michael, you heard him say that it is a win-win situation for the both sides. If he gets to do well, that contract can be renewed.
Yes, of course. I think a win-win situation, yeah. Possibly because of the fact that he seems to be a little bit on the first side in terms of the monetary value on the pockets of the NFL, because this is one of their considerations. First, it was Antonio Conceição, the Portuguese, that was their first choice. But then the man gave his price tag within the range of $120 million and above. Now, to NFF, they think they don't have such money because of the paucity of funds that they keep complaining since last year. Now, the second choice was the Senegalese, Cisse. But then the man said that he was not ready. He wanted to take a break from the job. And the next option that comes is this man talking about Eric Chelle, possibly because of his price range that fall within the region of 55 to 60 or 80 thereabout, and that is why they deem it necessary to go for him. So if he get to excel, it is a win-win situation for them. For us, let me not say them as if I'm trying to exclude myself, because I'm part and parcel of the Super Eagles. So if he get to do well, it's a win-win situation. Win-win situation in the sense that financially they will not be coughing out that much. Then again for us, because he has come and been able to, also alleviate the standard of the Super Eagles, possibly, from struggling to make an AFCON final after 2013, where we won it with our indigenous coach, the late Big Boss himself, talking about Stephen Keshi. So I think it's going to be a win-win situation. That is only if he excels.
Okay, and that brings me to you, Badina. And do you think, from your mind now, that you don't speak as a Nigerian, do you think Eric Chelle has what it takes to swim us out from the challenge that we are? Can we pick the World Cup ticket? You have to unmute. You have to unmute so we can hear you. Can you hear?
The work of coaching is mostly about your man management skills. Talent-wise, we have between average and above, some above average players that can deliver, but getting them to sweat it out seems to be the hardest part of most coaches that we have seen in terms of their discipline and their commitment level. And that's the major work that I think Chelle will face coming in, and which will also determine his success or not when he resumes as coach of the Super Eagles. Will the players die for him? Will they play for him? That is the biggest question. Chelle will have to answer. That he needs to answer for himself, and that will determine the outcome if he's successful or not. It's not so much about talent. It's not so much if he can. Yes, we can. All he needs to do is to get the boys playing for him and win all other games. The oppositions are good, but they are not tough. That's the countries we have, the likes of Lesotho as well, that we have in our World Cup qualification group. South Africa is about the biggest challenge that we have in that group, and they are countries. Africa is a country that we can overcome if we have our boys playing their hearts out. Even in our weekend moment, they could not beat us. So that tells you a lot about our quality.
Okay.
It's the management and commitment for the players that matters the most.
Many thanks to you, Obadina, for joining us on today's edition of the show. I'm sure that we're going to still get you as time progresses, but it's been a wonderful debut from you out there. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Michael, it's been a pleasure also having to converse all this with Obadina and you here in the studio.
Yes, of course, this is what we want to see. Top-notch guests, top-notch analysis from people that matters within the ecosystem of this business. Talking about sport journalism, I think it is always a very nice time and a good pleasure to also share ideas with some of our top men out there.
All right, that will be all this evening on Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, 6 to 7 p.m.